Well, all the new avionics are great, and they've made flying safer, particularly in the airline world. But in the wake of the Boeing 737 MAX 8 accident, some wonder if we're ceding too much control to automated systems or if we're getting the proper training on those systems. The ranking member of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee has particular concerns about the training for foreign pilots. Representative Sam Graves of Missouri told us in a telephone interview that he thinks that right now the focus should be on the pilots rather than fixating on equipment failures.
Both Lion Air and Ethiopia, they were fighting the airplane, all the way to the end. Why didn't they disengage? Why didn't they hit the stabilizer trim cutouts? Why didn't they just disengage the system and fly the plane? Bottom line is, in every single one of us, at least in the United States that learns to fly, if you have an equipment failure, I don't care if you're flying a Seneca or a 737 MAX, you disengage the system and you fly the plane. Some of these countries are trying to get pilots in the pipeline so fast that they're teaching them how to fly computers. They're not teaching them how to fly an aircraft.
You can read much more in the news and videos section of our website, and you can hear the interview with Representative Graves in the latest edition of our Hangar Talk podcast.
And Congress is already wading into the issue of the Boeing 737 MAX. This week, the FAA was called before the Senate Commerce Committee to explain its aircraft certification process, including Organization Designation Authorization, or ODA. Now, that's where FAA delegates some certification actions to the manufacturer or other private organizations. Acting FAA Administrator Dan Elwell said it's a system that has worked very well.
Safety is not just a set of programs that can be established or implemented. It is a way of living and working, and it requires the open and transparent exchange of information. It takes collaboration, communication, and common safety objectives to allow the FAA and the aviation community to jointly identify system hazards and to implement safety solutions. Decades of experience have proven that this approach yields knowledge that we would not otherwise obtain. FAA aircraft certification has always relied on the exchange of information and technical data with industry. Some version of our certification process has been in place for over 60 years.
Meanwhile, Boeing held a big event in Seattle where it told pilots, airlines, and the media that it was making software changes to the MCAS system, including an angle of attack disagree warning as standard equipment. It used to be optional. Boeing will limit the amount of nose-down trim that MCAS can command. The company is also revising pilot training. So this has been a real blow for Boeing. They're not used to the kind of overview that they're getting right now.
Yeah, and here's where the trickle-down can occur for general aviation is if Congress mandates that the FAA get more involved and maybe do away with the ODA authorization that Boeing and a lot of other manufacturers have, where they have a lot of oversight. They are the subject matter experts. They know their products. They've got the most at stake if there's a safety problem that develops. And so that's how the system has worked. But if the FAA somehow is forced into being more involved, that means that resources are pulled away from other manufacturers, smaller companies that don't have ODA, and that means that GA certification projects could be stretched out even further.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
One thing leads to another.
Yeah, Elwell said if they did away with ODA, the FAA would have to hire some 10,000 more people to work. But there's also a lesson in all of this for some of us general aviation pilots, and that is know your equipment and know how to turn it off.
Right. Yeah, important part there.